What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Rubin has come out with some pretty good information, kind of describing and showcasing what they're prioritizing behind the scenes and how they're going about handling this business. But of course, this community, for some reason, is packed with just the ultimate levels of brain rot. No matter how many times you can describe something to this community, I'm not talking to everybody because it's a ton of people up in the comment section, a ton of people who watch these videos, and a ton of people who enjoy XDefiant, who don't need to think this way, and who are patient with the game and understand the situation that, we're all in. But of course, like I said, there's always going to be the handful of individuals who are just already completely brain rotted, and it doesn't matter how many times you give them any factual information, they're just going to keep reflecting and reflecting and reflecting and reflecting over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, today's video is going to be a very good one. I have a whole lineup of comments, a thread that Mark Rubin had to get into here, and I think it's going to be a very juicy one for you guys. Now, to start off, I'm going to showcase to you guys the tweet that Mark Rubin quoted. This right here is by Aches, and it's a little bit further information on the movement nerf. I posted this in the comment section of my previous video talking about the movement, but I'll go ahead and read it all for those who didn't see it. But pretty straightforward stuff. Reduced air strafing speed, still very much can air strafe, looks much less jerky when a player is air strafing. Fixed animation speed to appear more natural in 3P, basically no change in 1P. But the character's movement when doing these actions will appear much smoother. Small change, just align the spam penalty so it doesn't have a ramp up at 4 to 5, so 3 jumps still penalty free, just starts at max at 4th jump to align with the next change. Now the consecutive jump height landing speed reductions are capped at 3, so 4th, you will be the same as 3rd. No longer can get stuck in mud feeling after a ton of jumps as it was uncapped previously. So again, it's just, further clarifying the nerfs that we're about to witness when it comes to the movement changes. But then Mark Rubin went ahead and quoted that saying, the changes to jump coming in 1.5 are mostly around smoothing out the animations and actions so they look better in third person, making them less jarring. Better explanation by Aches here. Try it out and give us feedback. But he goes on to say, and also, yes, we are still very much working on Netcode. I just recently spoke to the whole team to make sure everyone knows it's our #1 priority. We will get there. Again, phenomenal news. That's all we want to hear. Because again, I think the mass majority of the people with common sense know that, it's a small team putting this together. They don't have much manpower. And again, there's people who specialize in the netcode, and they can try to put as many people together to work on that, but in reality, you need the mindset and the skill set to be able to do such a thing as complex as the netcode. It's not simple, and again, one wrong move kills the game, and it's going to set them back 20 steps. It's much safer to take your time with it and make sure every single thing you do works. And again, with a larger team, you can get that done faster. But with the size of this team, they're doing pretty dang decent in my personal opinion. For like less than 100 people, basically, that's not solid, right? Their game runs, if not just as better as other games with thousands and thousands of developers. So very impressive. But again, you already know the brain rot in this community. Nobody really understands the common sense of any of this stuff. So we have, a little bit of a response here saying, new maps and modes before netcode fixes derailed any momentum the game had during release. And Mark Rubin responds saying, not the same people. Netcode is always being worked on by engineers. Those engineers are not involved in making maps. It just seems ridiculous to have to answer and explain this concept anymore nowadays. You think it's just common knowledge to understand that there's multiple different teams specializing on very individual tasks within each and every game that you play. People for maps, people for weapons, people for animations, people for sounds. And again, with a big, massive team, it's easier to have this because these smaller teams that are prioritizing different things are still pretty big. But, they basically have the size, their full team for XDefiant is basically the size as like another small team that hyper-focuses one thing, right? You have to come to an understanding on this. And you have to come to an understanding that, again, they're portioned into categories. So the people who are making maps and modes, they're going to keep tugging along. They already have the seasons planned. They already have people making that stuff. There's nothing they can do about the netcode. The only people who can worry about the netcode are, again, the engineers. And they can keep prioritizing them, but there's only so much Mark Rubin can do. and it's up to Ubisoft. But this chat goes on a little bit further, and the Q-Ray Z said, wish more people understood this. Yeah, you and me both, bro. But another response here from Oroku saying, we do. And it's pretty lame cop-out, in my opinion. Allocate more resources instead of deflecting. Oh my lord, this is ridiculous, man. And again, Mark Rubin says, how is that a lame cop-out? Genuinely want to know, because we have everyone who can work on Netcode working on Netcode. With the response saying, because you say it to players like they don't understand it. Again, it is and has been a serious issue, so why hasn't there been more resources allocated to what is clearly the #1 issue plaguing the game? God, man. Thank God we have Mark Rubin right to go ahead and respond to these type of people. You keep saying allocate more resources, like I have a magic wand and an unlimited budget. Oh, Mark, we wish you did have a magic wand, bro. We really do. The way the team works is we have teams cells pods dedicated to different features, but when there is a major issue or something we need the team to focus on, we create strike teams. A strike team pulls people out of their normal work and gives them priority to all resources to complete the issue that caused the strike team to be formed. Netcode has been a strike team since before we launched, and the team has made a ton of improvements, and there are more coming. But the work takes time. It's not a problem we could just allocate more resources to. Once again, this shouldn't have to be explained. This literally should not have to be explained in any way, shape, or form, right? Not even in the slightest. But I guess it does, because the next response, you tell me you can't just allocate resources and then explain strike teams to me, which does exactly that. Forming a strike team sounds an awful lot like allocating resources. If you can't allocate resources, then what exactly is the strike team? I also understand things take time. Again, you don't have to mansplain. But if they take time, why is it a recurring, we have netcode fixies incoming, and then nothing really happens? Overpromise, underdelivered, in my opinion. Again, everything that Mark Rubin is going to further explain, I could have already said. Like, I already knew it. We all already knew it. But again, of course, Mark Rubin has to go ahead and lay it out. And before we move on to the next, I have to say, there has been improvements with the netcode every single time they put out an update to do so. And to say not is literally, you are literally coping. You are the definition of coping. Because if you look at footage from literally day one to where it is now, it is a huge difference in every possible way. But let's move over to what Mark Rubin says next. I can allocate resources within the team. What I can't do is magically add new people to the team. And as I said, it's not a problem that is just simply solved by adding people. This shit is hard, and people are busting their asses to improve netcode. So when you imply that the team is lazy and not doing anything, it's insulting. At a GDC 1 year long ago, I was talking to an engineer from another studio who turned out to have been a literal rocket scientist before making the change to game development, and he stated with no hesitation that game development was far harder than programming for rockets. Point is, we are hard at work on fixing something that is incredibly difficult to work on, and while you may not always see the progress is being made. And don't be daft enough to think that other games have perfect netcode that never needed to be worked on after going live. And don't insult my team. Again, preach! Preach, preach! Absolutely preach! I just put a video together, not too long ago of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 subreddit with the same complaints. Everybody's saying the same thing as the XDefiant community. The netcode's horrible. The connection is horrible. This, that. People always pretend that other games don't have any issues whatsoever. Like, there's no problems. And then they come to XDefiant and just overcomplicate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that in COD. I spent the whole year with Modern Warfare 3 enjoying the game, talking about all the weekly updates and all the cool weapons coming into the game and all the aftermarket parts and the maps and all the, the interesting stuff they're incorporating. Nobody ever gave me crap about netcode in that game, even though it is a problem and the connection is a problem. And here we are in XDefiant. I try to do the same thing. I want to talk about the game, enjoy the game, but no, it's like people are so insanely addicted with exactly that in XDefiant when it's not even as bad as they're making it out to be. But again, Mark perfectly explained it, that it is indeed extraordinarily complex to work on the netcode. It's not simple, and people are expecting a small team of under 100 to be able to put this together and make it work and function on, in record time. in record time. We're basically 2 months in, and honestly, this game is further ahead than many other shooters I've played. Come on now. Like, why are we giving them so much crap when we know the circumstances that they're in, and they're doing so well under those circumstances as well? You know what I'm saying? But, and back to the other point about allocating people to, you know, this problem. That's what really pisses me off, is that people don't understand that the budget isn't under their freaking control. But for some reason, these people are so brain dead, and they really think that a massive corporation like Ubisoft will give money access to these, you know, dev teams to pick and choose. You know, that they'll give them a certain amount that they can work with. But if you really think they're going to just splurge and give them whatever they ask for, you are absolutely mental. You have lost your freaking mind. Maybe if they're an indie team and they had some money to work with, they could probably, you know, hyper-focus in certain areas. But right now, they're working for Ubisoft. They have to do what they have to do, and they have to take what they can take. You know what I'm saying? And under their circumstances, they can allocate people to hyper-focus the netcode. But to think they can magically hire 1,000 people to hyper-focus on the netcode, again, you have lost your mind. Now, Ubisoft might loosen up because Mark Rubin did hint at them going ahead and picking up more people, right, to further the dev team, which is good because they could probably get more people up for the netcode. But again, you know, it's not logical to think that Ubisoft is going to bust the budget, say, okay, let's get 2,000 more devs to just come over here and let's get this netcode in order in like a week. You know, and even with that many devs, it's still going to be a hard process. Like, people just simply don't understand, man. But it's not over just yet. There's one final response to what Mark put out there, and Mark didn't respond after this one, but it says, so when you imply that the team is lazy and not doing anything, it's insulting. I didn't imply that. You assumed that and got offended. No, you didn't assume that and you didn't get offended. You guys are continuously bashing this team for not working on the netcode when they indeed have been working on the netcode, and you're claiming that nothing is being done and why they can't get more people all the time when you know exactly why they can't get more people. You're not respecting this team whatsoever with how many people they have trying to make sure this is perfected for the community. You're not understanding and respecting their circumstances. But then he goes on and says, shit rolls downhill, so I guess the community should hold you accountable for overpromising and under-delivering. The players aren't causing the issues, leadership is. And, you know, really quickly, when did they under-promise? They said that the netcode is going to take like 6+, maybe even a year plus worth of time. We're 2 months in. I just have to, I'm curious, when did he ever under-promise? Oh, man. Sorry, it's just like I'm reading this and my brain is literally melting as I speak. Bringing up other games is a deflection. Oh, you know what a deflection is? Do you know what a freaking deflection is, man? It's exactly what you've been doing by not accepting the fact that he cannot indeed hire thousands of people, and you just still want to absolutely bitch about the overall situation, so you're going to continuously bash him regardless, even though you know the situation that they're in. I didn't mention a single other game or that XDefiant is the only one that has problems. I didn't insult your team at all. I criticized your handling of it. If you can't handle a simple criticism, maybe you aren't fit to be an executive producer. I'm glad I see your true colors now. I used to think you were a pretty cool, level-headed dude, but it's clear you're letting the internet criticism of you get to your emotional, and it's honestly kind of pathetic. I would even respond with a bunch of assumptions, deflections, and disingenuous comments. Like, bro, this guy, I'm done here. This dude is an absolute moron, bro. Oh my God, bro. I'm telling you. I am telling you. There is a serious problem, ladies and gentlemen, with this community. There is a serious case of brain rot. And I don't know how we're going to work through this because I don't think this is ever going to be resolved. Because even when the netcode does get fixed up, there's going to be more problems that these people are going to find. It's never going to end. We have been infected, and it's just a simple case of, you know, what we got to deal with here. I don't think there's a single game, even like Splitgate, for example. I never thought I'd see the day where Splitgate 2 would get that much crap about people portaling too much. Here we are, man. Like I said, there's not a single game out here that will ever be able to avoid these type of spoiled people. You just got to let them do their thing and keep rolling on here. But ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to bring this to you guys because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And I thought you guys would get a nice chuckle out of this conversation, this little thread as well. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, go down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Mark? Do you disagree with Mark? Do you agree with the counter argument? By all means, I love reading all the comments. You guys already know this. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8:20 Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I will be live today between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time over on Twitch. By all means, you guys can check that out. I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.